Welcome to the Sports Resort,
the People's Sports Show. Real talk, unfiltered. With your host, Derek Jonkins.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Sports Resort with D Junk, man. As I'm going through this journey through life, I kind of like doing this, man, and giving people information. I always tell myself as I go through life, I've been through a lot of things, good, bad, out the mud to the top, and everything. So I always try to give people information. That's why I started this podcast a few years ago, and we kind of got back going now with it. My guy Chris over here sitting on the couch. He finally stopped being lazy on me. We back on it. So today I got my guy Tony Jones with me, man. Tony is assistant player personnel director with the University of Alabama, man. A great guy I met a few years ago just on a random humbug. I tell people this story and they be like, bro, you weird. You talk to anybody. I'm like, yeah, I talk to you. All somebody do is walk off and tell me no. But welcome on, Tony, man. Great to have you, man. How's it working at the University of Alabama, bro? Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, but it's been awesome. It's definitely a blessing. Definitely don't take for granted, the opportunity to be here. Never in a million years that I think that I'd be, working at the University of Alabama, let alone with the football program. But it's been everything.
Oh man,
They
that's
love
good,
football
man.
down here. The weather's a lot, better than up in Michigan. The food is good, and man, I'm part of the Tide, so it's going great.
Oh man, that's pretty cool, man. That's a blessing there, man. So let's kind of start back on your upbringing, man. You're from Flint, Michigan, man. Like I was telling you before, I've met some few guys from there. Robert Smith played for the Texans, big old Robert. And some couple other people, and I never forget they were like, "Yeah, we from Flint." All right, so boom, Flint. You have a pretty great career, on the sports side of it and the
Mhm.
academic side of it. And next thing you know, boom, you land at Northwestern University. How was Northwestern? Because I think of Northwestern, old school. Back in the days, it was nerds go there and play ball,
Yeah.
right? Right. It was like, oh man, you smart, you go there. How was your Northwestern experience?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I was fortunate to have maybe 20 to 30 different opportunities to continue my collegiate career. But ultimately felt like Northwestern was the best fit for me. Great education. I loved every time that someone would talk to me about the different schools that were in my top 5, top 10. Everyone was always enamored with the prestige, of a university like Northwestern. So my top 3, actually ended up being, Northwestern, Stanford, and Vanderbilt. So I was always kind of in that mindset
Man, you
that,
was low key nerd, man.
Nerd alert!
I am a nerd. I don't hide from it. But I can play too, though. So
Well, hey, you
well
weren't
balanced.
majoring in auto mechanics in class, and you were in all the pre-APP classes.
Yeah, so my mom, she always, instilled in me, the importance of getting a great education as well. She never wanted me to be, a dumb jock. So it was always, yeah, you can excel, in your extracurriculars and your sports, but you're gonna make sure that first things first, that you're being a well-rounded young man. You're respecting, the adults and the authorities, in your life, and you're gonna hit these books too. So. That was just
Yes, sir.
always, a priority. And I kind of recognize now, just how important that was because not only, was I working hard, on the field, but also in the classroom. And I think ultimately it really, shaped who I am today. But Northwestern was a great experience. I was fortunate to play for Coach Pat Fitzgerald there for 5 years. I came into an opportunity where I knew that I'd have, the chance to compete for a role as a true freshman. I was playing in an offense that I felt like fit me, playing in the spread, and we did some cool things. At Northwestern, we won the first bowl game in the school's history in like the last 50, 60 years. I made some lifelong friendships and joined a fraternity while I was there. Made just a lot of great connections. So Northwestern was it was great. It was great. I got to
Oh
stay
man,
close
that's
to
that's
home
cool.
and
That's cool.
yep.
What did you get your degree in?
Yeah, so I studied learning and organizational change. So
Okay.
I always knew that I wanted to do something business related. And at Northwestern, there was not a specific business undergrad program, and I didn't know what exactly I wanted to get my major in. But I've always been very, observant and inquisitive, and I mean, Pat Fitzgerald, my head coach, was a Northwestern grad. So,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I wanted to know, Coach Fitz, what did you study? And,
Hmm.
he studied learning and organizational change. And I could kind of, sense from him, how business savvy he was, how he knew how to, structure things, even on a football side, and just how well he ran our program and our organization. And I didn't try to reinvent the wheel. I'm like, I see someone like Coach Fitz who, I admire. So, I'm gonna study, organizational change as well. So got my
Gotcha.
degree
Gotcha. That's
there in
good, though, man. That's
2014.
good, though, man. That's good, though. You definitely follow your mom in your parents' footsteps. No dumb jock. Make sure you get make sure you get some education action from that school. So, boom, you fast forward, you graduate, you get an opportunity in the NFL. I think
Mhm.
you had a brief stint with the Washington Redskins in camp,
Yep,
and then after that, you kind of moved on in life, and to the real world, which as I was talking to you the other day, and I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people get stuck, right? They don't make the
hmm
NFL, and they get stuck,
yep.
right, or whatever, right? I I call it like post football syndrome. You like lost in life, but you're a good example that you didn't get stuck in that route. So you graduated, and then you went to the financial world, correct?
I did. I did. It's funny you kind of mentioned, the importance of your village earlier, and I was blessed with, with a great village, supportive village, and one of my older cousins, he introduced me to finance, to investing at an early age. I've always, been a numbers guy, and like most of us, I like money as well. But he introduced me to investing at an early age. We had a mutual fund. Initially, he put $1,000 in it, and then he would, deposit $100 in it each and every month.
Hmm.
And he told me when I graduated from Northwestern, that would be my, my graduation gift. All I had to
Uh-huh.
do, was just kind of keep tabs on the account, let him know how it was performing, and it just kind of sparked my interest. I started, thinking about, finance and kind of watching the market a little bit more. So I was exposed, to different things. So when it came time for me to hang the cleats up, I knew that there was something that that I was interested in, outside of football. And at the time, the NFLPA had a partnership with Merrill Lynch,
Hmm.
and one of my best
Absolutely.
friends, well, probably my best friend from my childhood, his dad worked at Merrill Lynch, and he was like, "Man, they've got this program. I know that you got injured playing football, and you may be looking for different opportunities." He was like, "Man, I would love to have you, in my office." And so, boom, I started out with it's called an externship, but not really sure what the difference between an internship and externship is, but nonetheless, I got my foot in the door, and I enjoyed it. At the time, remember the TV show Ballers with
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Rock,
yeah, yeah,
Dwayne
yeah,
Johnson. So in
yeah.
my
That was
head,
my show.
yeah. So I'm thinking like, oh man, I could be like, like Dwayne Johnson, whatever his characters. I think it was like Spencer something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But
love that
yeah,
show.
so I just tried something new. I was rehabbing my shoulder at the time, and then make a long story short, found out that I needed surgery, and everything just kind of worked out. I worked hard, an internship, and I was offered actually a full time position. Working with my friend and his dad as a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch, and yeah, so that's kind of how my transition went. I don't know if you want to kind of get into
Yeah, I mean,
the next
hey,
stage.
that's good there, man. You this right here is for a lot of young people and even older people because some people get stuck and parents. Like I always tell people, it's more to life than just ball. If ball don't work, you gotta have that next step and
Yeah,
use them resources you're around, right? Like,
definitely.
you was in the NFL, so you went to NFLPA, you like, all right, well, my cousin already, introduced me to this.
Yep,
Now I'm in this little program. Well, let me try to see where this goes. And then boom, next thing you know, you get your job out of it,
exactly.
and move on, not get stuck on let me I don't know what to do because ball not working right or whatever right that I got injuries and I'm lost, I'm lost. But it's a good thing you kind of hopped in that quick. And that's my point to a lot of young people. And and as someone, if you don't make it in ball, right? Because I always tell people less than 1% make it, right?
Right.
1% even get an opportunity, right? You was blessed to be that
Mhm.
1%. Even under that, I always tell people, hey, I never forget. I go back. I never forget. I was working. I used to do a lot of stuff with Nike, and they would come here and do a camp every year, and it'll be about 1,500 kids there, and we time 40s,
Right.
right? 1,500 kids. Out of all those 1,500 kids, I never forget that one camp. We had two kids running under 4.5. That's
Uh-huh.
it. That's
Yeah.
it. Two. That's it. Two. And the two who ran it, they had to come back and run it again because if a coach say I got a kid running 4.4, everybody had to come put their eyes. So they had to run the kid. And the crazy thing about it, as I think back on this, and he probably don't even remember, one of the kids was J.K. Dobbins.
Oh
I
wow.
never forget that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and he was from and I think I'm low key related to him because he's from LaGrange, Texas, and I got a lot of family from there, but I haven't knick-knack and pick. But he was one of the kids. I never forget. I talked to him. I say, man, if he ever see this, he probably can remember, but I never forget. And I was like, man, this was in the Woodlands at the Wood Forest State. I say, man, you one of the you only one of two kids at the here out of 1,500 that ran a 4.4, bro. That's
Wow.
it.
Yeah.
And of course if you keep following him, he goes to Ohio State, had a heck of a career, and he's in the NFL now, right? At
Right.
1%. It was another kid ran it was a DB. He ended up going to Kansas. I can't remember his name.
Well, I'm from Michigan. I'm at Bama now, man. So don't be name dropping no more Buckeyes, man.
Hey, I got you on that. I got you on that. But I just had to tell that story, that 1%. Hey, man, I got so many Alabama guys I didn't work with.
There
But
we go.
fast
Roll
forward,
Tide.
that's I always tell people that's at 1%, and you got to keep moving on in life. So you go there, you doing the financial stuff, and
Yeah.
then how long did you stay doing that? A year, two?
I was there 2 years. 2 years
2 years,
and
boom.
yep.
So boom, then you catch yourself and you figure out, hey man, my calling might be back, man, getting to this ball. Let me see. Boom. Next thing you know, you're at the your next step. You at Michigan.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Next.
But yeah, I think like a lot of former athletes, you do kind of still have that itch, to be close to the game. So I was coaching high school football when I went back home, and I was working in finance. I did that. Um, but ultimately, I think even during my playing days, I was very observant of the different roles and responsibilities within the football program. So there was always, a little curiosity, there as far as, man, I see all these people, in the building that aren't necessarily coaches. Like, what does
Correct.
he do? What does he do? So I was always, still kind of interested, in working in collegiate athletics. And I just remember, the finance job was going well. But I just still kind of had that burning desire to be closer, to the game of football. And so one time I just remember coming home and, kind of sharing my thoughts, with my mom. And she goes, well, why don't you just call Coach Harbaugh? Why don't you call Jim Harbaugh? He's at the University of Michigan
Man,
now.
I like your mom, man. I
Yeah.
get on the podcast. She
Yeah,
like
yeah, man.
knowledge.
Yeah, she was just like, man, why don't you just call Coach Harbaugh? And you like, man, I'm just gonna call. I'm gonna pick up the phone, just call Jim Harbaugh. Like, what sense does that make? But she was like, no, really. She was like, I've held on to this letter, that he sent me for Mother's Day. I'm sure it was just some, generic letter that somebody in the
So he
office
sent. So they
had sent.
sent Mother's Day letters to all the parents. They were trying to recruit
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
real.
this was 2009. He sent her a Mother's Day note, and I mean she just really appreciated and admired that note, and so she held on to it. For this was 2017. She'd had this letter for almost 8 years, and
Oh
she
man.
was like, "Well, at the bottom of this letter, it's got his cell phone number on there. Why don't you just give him a call?" And as crazy as it sounded, I just took my mother's advice and I was like, man, what? I'm about to call Coach Harbaugh. Like, what do I have to lose? Like, if he don't answer, then cool. Like, I'm in the same spot that I'm in
Yeah.
now. And sure enough, one night I got home. I was like, forget it. I'm about to just call him. And I called Coach Harbaugh, and to my surprise, he answered. And I kind of froze for a second because I wasn't really expecting,
Yeah,
for
answer.
8 years later for him to answer, the same cell phone that was on this old recruiting, mailing that he'd sent out. And
Dude, so your
I
mama
just
held on to that letter for like 10 years?
she held on to. She probably still has it, but I
That's
mean,
real
yeah,
there,
she
bro.
just
That's
really
real.
appreciated that letter. And so I call him, and he's like, man, Tony, like, great to hear from you. He was like, man, what you got going on now? I was like, man, I'm working at, Merrill Lynch now, as a financial advisor. I'm not calling, to ask you, to manage your money or anything. But coach, I actually, I've been doing some thinking, and I'm interested in working in college athletics. So I just wanted to reach out and, kind of see what was going on and if you could offer, any advice. And I never forget, he goes, man, Tony, your timing is actually impeccable. I was like, well, what's going on? He was like, well, we're restructuring some things right now. He was like, but we're creating a couple different opportunities, in recruiting and in operations. I mean, I think, you'd be a great fit. And so I'm just like, wow. He was like, well, I'm gonna send you, my GM, his contact information and just give him a call, let him know that we talked and that I shared his contact information. And so, I hung up with Coach Harbaugh and I call him right then. And he's like, wait a second. He was like, he was like, you just, called Coach Harbaugh out the blue, and told him that, you wanted to work here at the University of Michigan. I was like, yeah. He was like, man, I love it. So I think it was the fact that I took the initiative, and I was showing that, I was hungry, that I wasn't afraid, to get on the phone and, say what I want. And
Hey, that's
next thing I
real there,
know,
man. And that's
yeah,
why I try to tell a lot of people sometimes is, I always say someone can always just someone tell you no, that's it, right? That
that's
nobody
it.
can't you got nothing to lose if
Right.
you don't take chances or bet on yourself, it's tough. I always say, and every kid I work with about it, I'm like, bro, how you don't you gotta have confidence in yourself. How you expect the next person to to vouch for you or blah blah blah? You don't even believe in yourself, right?
Right.
Somebody, you gotta believe in yourself a little bit. So boom, you go on, man, you do that, and then what? You just roll up to Michigan like ready to clean the toilets? I mean, what you do?
Hey, I was no, honestly, no job was too big or too small.
That's real.
I had, a career in finance where, I think my base salary, at the time was 50 grand. But I just wanted to get, my foot in the door, at the University of Michigan. So I come in as an operations assistant. And I mean, I think I may have even, stretched the truth a little bit as far as, telling my parents and, how much money I was making. But honestly, I was making $12 an hour.
That's real.
No benefits. But man, truthfully, just was as happy as could be, just for the opportunity. And you kind of talked about, betting on yourself. That was kind of my mindset and mentality. Is I was like, man, yeah, I'm making, 50 grand right now. I'm going backwards, to make, $12 an hour. But I knew that, I would get in and, I would add value. I'd work hard and, in due time, I'd be, well beyond, 50,000. So the money was, definitely, something to think about, but I just wanted to get in. I wanted to get in and contribute and show what I could do. And I remember when I first started at Michigan, man, I we used to have, like all the little snacks that go into the halftime snacks, and man, I'm in there, cutting up Rice Krispie treats. I'm like, man, what like, but I didn't care. I
Yeah,
just wanted to, do my part and contribute. So I'm making, snack bags, so that the
it's
kids that they
real.
had food for, for the buses, for the locker room. But man, I just jumped on, any opportunity where I saw that, I could help out. So I started out in operations and then they moved me over to recruiting and I became the recruiting operations coordinator. Once they kind of realized that, man, this guy, he's a former player, people like talking to him. He's got an eye for talent. So I became the recruiting operations coordinator. Then I became the director of high school relations. So each season, I just kind of grew, and took on different responsibilities. But the biggest thing is, no job was too big or too small. I just wanted to, contribute and learn as much as possible. And
Yeah, that's hey, that's real.
yeah,
That's real love, man. That's shit. That's real. I always look at it. Even when I first started training, I never really thought about the money involved because I was getting paid pennies.
yeah,
But I was just happy I was doing something I was loving and passionate about. I'm like, I love this. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, I'm going to work every day happy. I'm like, oh man, I'm happy. Then I
yeah,
think at the gym the guy started letting me get little free food here and there. I'm like, shit, I'm getting 2 meals here.
yeah.
I'm getting one at two at home. I'm good.
Right.
I don't need nothing. Like, and then I used to go, and they used to have a lot of pro athletes coming to the gym, and then I got cool with a bunch of them. So I go eat lunch with them, and they pay for everything. I'm like,
Yeah,
shit,
I can
I'm
make this
good.
work.
I'm
Yeah,
good, man. I never forget my boy Quincy Morgan. I don't even know if you remember Q. I go eat lunch with him. Q would pay for it. I'm like, shit, man. Q, I love this dude. He cool, man.
yeah,
Shoot, I think Q got drafted in like second round, but we used to go eat this little food, and he used to buy us lunch all the time. I'm like, shit, I love this dude right here. He buy
yeah.
me lunch. I'm cool. It's a dream job being around these people every day. You know, it's probably
Right.
the same feeling you had at Michigan, around these,
Definitely.
University of Michigan, around these people and Coach Harbaugh, all these
Mhm.
athletes, good people, tradition. It's like, dude, it's like a dream come true. So
Yeah.
kind of fast forward a little bit, man. You know, you there, you working. Then I come along, and
Hmm.
this kind of how I kind of meet you. I'm there, and I never forget. As my cousin was getting recruited by everybody, and I'm being involved with him. I sure wish he went there, but he didn't. But I'm there, and I'm talking to people, and then I met you, and I'm like, oh dang, this guy's kind of cool. I always kind of tell people when I went there, you was cool, and Coach Harbaugh was cool.
Uh-huh.
He was cool. Like I'm like, damn, this Coach Harbaugh cool. Like. Same thing. I think he gave me his number, called me anytime. Then
Yeah.
he met us for breakfast like at 5 in the morning, which which is crazy. I don't know if I ever told you. Did I tell you that?
I don't know, but hey, hopefully it was within the rules.
Oh man, bro. Yeah, he met us for breakfast. Yeah, it was all in the rules. He met us for breakfast. He like, what time y'all leaving? I'm like, our flight leave like at I think our flight left at 6. No, like 7. He like, we need to do breakfast for y'all leave. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, coach. We had to eat breakfast like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, like I'll be there.
He like, okay, let's do 4:45 in the morning before y'all leave.
Yeah.
I'm looking like, Lee, man, you gonna wake up? I'm like, well, shoot, coach, you gonna make it? He like, yeah, I'll be there,
Yeah.
bro. I
Probably
never
was there
forget,
ready with a Diet Coke.
bro. He was out. He was sitting down ready, dog, with us,
Yeah.
bro. Like, real. That's why I tell people every day I got so much respect for him, man. He woke. I mean, not many head coaches gonna do that.
Right.
Right, he's just not gonna do that for a recruit. But I always look back. But anyway, man, I met you and we kind of hit it off, and and then as we kind of became friends or whatever, and I brought some a couple opportunities for you, and next thing we kind of took it. Next thing you know, we're at Detroit Catholic Central. That
Yes.
whole movement. You there working? How long did you stay there? 2 years?
Ah, man.
I can't even remember.
21. Yeah, I did two full school years. Yeah, almost 2.5 years. Yeah, I
Yeah,
started there in
at
the
Detroit
fall of
Catholic Central.
21. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
man. So and I and I also always say, man, life can take you on so many journeys.
Yeah.
If life is a straight line, we all walk to a money tree, right, and shake it and go on about our business. But life can kind of take you. So boom, So I meet you as I'm doing the work with at Detroit Catholic Central with their
Yep.
whole diversity and campus revamping and everything that they're trying to do, which they're moving along with it.
Hmm.
Boy, I made sure you get the opportunity. We talk about the opportunity there. So you leave Michigan, come there, get married,
Hmm.
have a family. How was that whole transition, getting married and having a family and everything all like just bam?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot at once, but man, first off, I think that I never, took for granted the opportunity to connect with great people. So I mean, when I met you at Michigan, I was just being myself and like-minded, people just connecting. You just never know. First off, who you may come in contact with that you could later do business with, that you can help or
Facts.
that can help you. And at that time, you knew my situation as far as, and I was really just kind of starting my family as far as getting married and my wife getting pregnant and. When you came to me, with the opportunity at Catholic Central, it just made sense, at the time I was working, at Michigan from sun up to sundown, and really just kind of needed, a break and a recharge. And the opportunity at Catholic Central made sense, and I've never
Yeah.
been, afraid to take on new opportunities and to put myself in different type of environments that I feel like can help me grow. So yeah, that was it was definitely a time of growth
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. And as you know, because I went through that stage too when I used to coach at the high school, and I was head coach. Took it real serious. Like we
Yeah,
there sun up to sundown. We on high school, but he was like, no, 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 no. We got to get the film in, buddy.
yeah,
We need to know every play that this team is about to run. Like I'm like, coach, well, we beat them last year 60-0. I don't care. I don't care. We need to, we need all the paperwork on him. So he was dog up, sun up to down. And I never forget, you know, my wife was like, "Is this gonna be our life?" Right?
yeah,
Because leaving at 6, getting home at 11. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's pretty much it right now. So I had to figure that out, kind of like you. I had to kind of
yeah.
like take a step back and figure out what my priorities was real quick, and focus on my family real quick, and then kind of and then got back into got back into the thump and the grind of everything until I was
Right.
where I was trying to go with everything. But so fast forward, man. CC. You
Hmm.
leave there, opportunity comes at Roll Tide, Alabama, man. And I never get you brought that up to me. I'm like, bro, that's a heck of an opportunity,
Yeah.
dog. Like, I tell people, you ain't got to tell nobody. Alabama
Hmm.
speaks for itself. Probably the most prestigious football program in the last 25 years of college football. How has that transition been, man? Since you got there, in Alabama, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Roll Tide, totally different from Michigan,
Yeah, a lot
Uh,
different from Michigan. But
yeah.
no, the transition has been great. A couple familiar faces are here. Guys that I worked with at the University of Michigan. So again, it just kind of takes you back to, when you're in different places, to work hard, network, and stay in contact with people. So the general manager here, he was our director of player personnel back at Michigan.
Okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
yep, the corners and co-defensive coordinator here at,
Mhm.
at Alabama. I worked with him at Michigan as well. So I mean,
Gotcha.
these are guys that I just stayed in contact with. I didn't work with them very long at Michigan, but we connected. I think they were able to, you know, um, feel like I was a young man of solid character and that I would work hard.
Man,
So
say that again, character, man. That's why I try to
yeah,
tell a lot of people, like when somebody can vouch for your character, I always tell people that is huge. I always say, like, hey, you can do a lot of stuff, man, but if you solid in your character, other people are gonna always vouch for you. That's gonna be like,
yeah,
hey, they solid, man. Like I always tell people, man, I'm glad you brought that because I always tell a lot
yeah,
of young people, even older people, man, make sure your characters are straight, man. Nobody's gonna ever judge that or
yeah.
second guess that, man.
Yep. I mean, there's always, plenty of people, that have got talent. But when somebody trusts you, and they know that, you work hard, that you're a man of integrity, you're gonna continue to get, different opportunities. So that's, it's not a secret. That's
Right,
how
that's
I've
facts.
I've been afforded, the different opportunities that I've gotten is just being real, being genuine, and just working hard. That's how I've kind of found myself, in all the different, career opportunities that I've had is just being someone that, that people can trust and hopefully that they enjoy, working with and being around.
Man, that's solid there, man. That's solid there, man. That's all. So, all right, so you're at Bama, man, and enjoying it now. You got your family down there with
Mhm.
you now. Probably put a smile on your face. I say you and your little
Definitely.
girl on that track. She probably like say, big boy, you need to run around this track with me right now and stop trying to scream at me. But that
Yeah, yeah,
that that
time.
that hey,
We've
that's
been
cool.
building that track builds character.
Hey, that track looked big too out there for some reason. Oh man, I'm totally with you, man. I love being around my daughter every day. That's man, around my family, man. That's like my joy in my day every day.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
It's
special, especially with as much as we work.
yeah,
It's nice to to see your kids enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like man,
yeah.
my family at these games and my daughter, having the time of her life and looking back on, the pictures, like man, my son, from what 6 7 months to now at 2, he's been on the sideline at at the big house and
Yeah,
here
yeah.
at Saban Field. It's just cool to be able to give your kids this type of access and opportunities. And I'm grateful that I work for a head coach and coach DeBoer that he's made this a family friendly atmosphere. He's like, man, your families are always welcome here. So
That's real
I
good.
appreciate that, especially because we spend so much time here. So my daughter, she was just here, at work with me yesterday. So it's been cool to kind of see them grow up, as football kids, and for them to have so much fun. My daughter, she's like attached to her iPad, and she made the comment to my wife at the first game. She was like, "I like this better than I like my iPad," and we was like, "Man, that's crazy to hear her say because she don't like anything more than that iPad." But
Man, that
the
iPad, man, my daughter, boy, she get glued to that thing. I'm like, God, please. But
yeah,
as you keep them active and take them different places, they forget about them things. They
yep,
look, they interact and they talk, and especially once they, start having friends. So
oh
tell me
yeah.
a little bit about your role at,
Mhm.
Alabama. As more and more schools add more and more staff, as
Mhm.
the world changes with the transfer portal, athletes, social media. I mean, we got a lot of things out there versus we didn't have 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot going on, with that. What's more so your role, at Alabama right
Yeah,
now?
so I know I got quite a lengthy title, assistant director of player personnel, but essentially my job is to identify and evaluate defensive prospects that I feel like can help our team win national championships. So
What type of players do you look for? If someone reaches out to you, right? You get cold emails, calls, your buddy. Hey, Tony, I got this kid. I see. Everybody got to know somebody, right? But
right,
like I tell everybody, certain schools only certain athletes can fit that mold right there, right? So what do you
right,
look for when you recruiting? You're looking for
yeah.
defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for winners, first and foremost. You want guys that have, a winning, attitude and mentality. So that's on the field and off the field. But secondly, you got to find kids that love football. That love football.
Passionate.
Yeah, that they're passionate about it. You're not, missing practices or missing workouts. They're very dedicated and very disciplined. You want dedicated and disciplined players where you don't have to, force them to watch film or force them to go to workouts and to run and to lift weights. And then secondly, I mean, you're looking for elite players. I mean,
Gotcha.
everybody can't play at the University of Alabama. You got to be special. You got to have an elite trait or quality, whether that's size or speed or strength. But I mean, we're literally looking for not the best at a specific high school, but we're looking for the best players in the world. So
Gotcha.
I mean that even extends outside of this country. But you're looking for guys that want to be NFL players and first round picks. So I mean there's the measurables. You got if I'm looking for a defensive lineman, there's not many, sub 6 foot defensive linemen, on our roster or even, on NFL roster. So there's a size component, there's a football character component. And then, you got to have guys that are winners, guys that want to win and that, want to be the best at what they do.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Winning is huge. I tell people, when you have that in your brain, you're a winner and you hate losing.
Yeah.
Man, it comes. That's one thing I always look back like at my high school experience. We won all the time, and we lost one game. It was like
The end of the
our
world.
coach like we'll never lose again. Like we was right at it. Like I never forget that he stood it. He instilled that, and even like my cousins, growing around them playing ball, it was like nah, we winners. Like ain't no losing on this. So I think I definitely agree with you, man. Once you bring someone winner that had that winning mindset, and also they fit the intangibles, size, height, speed. It
Mhm.
it brings all that together. And I tell people, you got 100 winners in the room. It's gonna be hard to lose, man, because it's
Yeah.
like, but if you got, you got 30 winners and 70 losers. It's gonna be easy to lose, right? It's gonna be
Right.
easy for somebody to say, ah, blah, it's over. But everybody winners like, no, 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 we're not losing this, bro. No,
Yeah.
I haven't lost, I haven't lost, I don't lose. What is this?
Right.
I think in Texas high school football, I want to say I could be wrong, but I know off the top of my head, I think Kyler Murray went like I think they went like 43-0 in high school or something
Yeah.
like that, or 43-1 or something. It was like insane. I think he said that on the
Yeah.
NFL
I mean, winners
recently.
win.
Yeah, he was like, I don't think nobody ever did this. It was 43-1 or 43-0 they went. Like, I was
Wow.
like, God damn, that dude won a lot of games.
Yeah.
I think he went to state championship 3 or 4 times, won three in a row or something crazy. It was just some crazy stats he did at
Yeah.
5'10" playing quarterback. But my reason for saying that was that he was a winner,
Mm.
right? And he had that mentality like, oh no, I'm gonna win, I'm
Yep.
gonna win. It's just, I hate losing. So as you go there, so you're recruiting. So are you recruiting a certain area, or you just in general?
So I just got the defense. So we
So
recruit.
wherever. So if a
Yeah, we
kid in
recruit
Ooga
players from
Booga,
anywhere.
Texas, and you get
Yeah,
that film and he works, hey, you going at him.
we're gonna
All right, that's
watch him.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's real. Uh, so on the flip side of it, man, as you been there and you've been recruiting at is it how has the transfer portal impacted what you're doing right now?
Yeah, it's impacted it greatly. I mean, because now you're constantly assessing and evaluating your roster. You're always looking, at other schools and their rosters. So now, you have to, um, watch more college football. You can't just be, focused on just high school players, because especially at a place like Alabama, guys are always going to be, trying to poach our players. Guys that may be, second string or third string guys here. Or, maybe we've got a guy, that is his draft stock, has skyrocketed, so maybe we'll lose him early. So, you're always constantly, evaluating your own roster and figuring out, where you've got needs and if there's a player that may be entering the portal that can come in and contribute and help here, versus a high school kid that, may still, need a year or two to develop. So it's changed it, a ton because now you've got to focus on, retaining your roster, as well as being aware of, what else is out there.
So what's your advice? Because now you get a lot of kids, right? Parents, in high school, and they're like, "Well, what nobody recruit my kid? Why?" What's your advice for parents that that's in kids, right? And they in high school right now, and they're like, I tell them all the time, like, "Hey, now the days are over with. You just competing against." For this scholarship to this college with this other kid that's in high school. Now you competing against kids in college that's in a transfer
Yeah.
portal. What kind of quick advice could you give that parent and that kid that's they want to play college ball and they humping it, right? They on the grind,
Yeah.
but they just need, they like, all right, well, the days of, every kid getting offered early are over, kind of not, unless you just that wolf, that one
Right.
off.
Yeah.
What advice can you give them to help them out a little
Um,
bit?
yeah, I think first and
Should it
foremost,
camp? So what should they do? They working
yeah.
out or
Yeah, I mean, focus on being the best player that you can possibly be first and foremost. Continue to work hard, and the advice to parents would be, don't put too much pressure on your kids. Make sure that this is truly, what your kid wants to do. Sometimes, you have parents that are living through their kids and putting pressure on them. When at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to sports, sports is great that it teaches you, so many character values, whether it's teamwork, hard work, discipline. Like make sure your kid, number one, is enjoying what he's doing, but also that, that he's learning, to put forth, his best efforts into what he's doing. And from there, everything will take care of itself. Guys, you know, they make it to the NFL from junior colleges, from D3, D2,
guys?
D1. Like it doesn't matter, what school you went to and what stars or ranking you had, as a sophomore in high school. Like at the end of the day, if your son is willing to dedicate himself, to his craft and he's gonna work hard, he's gonna be a good teammate, he's gonna be a good student, he's gonna find success in life, whether that's the NFL or in whatever career he chooses. So make sure that the most important thing is that your son is passionate about what he's doing, and he's working hard, and that you're not, adding another stressor or putting this, amount of pressure on him, that he feels like, he's got to be, the blue chip recruit. If he doesn't go to Alabama or to any other school, or become a Division I football player or NFL, draft pick, that he can still have, success. So I think that would be my best advice is, don't put so much pressure on your kid. Like, help your kid, fulfill, his dreams and aspirations, but also let him know that, it's not the end of the world, if he doesn't get an offer, from the University of Alabama, or he doesn't get, to hear his name called, the NFL draft. But like I said, we look at junior college kids, we look at D2 kids, we look at D3 kids. Everybody's path, isn't the same. But if your son, if he's working hard and he's committed to it, then things tend to typically work out in those people's favor.
Yeah, nah, I totally agree with you on that, man. So on the flip side of it, what's your opinion on, some kids' parents? I get this a lot, as I'm working with them a lot. Oh, should I go to this camp, that camp? What's your
Hmm.
opinion on that? You do if a kid was a say for example, right, and it's a kid, right, and they say, all right, okay, Alabama football camp is such and such. Do you suggest if they wanted to, for example, go to Alabama, they should go to the camp and come perform
Yeah.
in front of the coaches?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it always helps. I mean, nothing is better than an in-person, live eval.
Gotcha,
When the
facts.
coach can, see you in person, see how fast you run, see how you move, see your frame, your size. That's always, a huge advantage as opposed to, only being able to evaluate a kid just off of their, off of their film. So, I would go to as many camps as possible. The 1 day camps, they're also an opportunity for you to learn, and to get better, to get exposure, and the network. You never know, what coaches will end up elsewhere. Sometimes, kids will be like, I don't want to go to, the North Texas camp, or I don't want to go to, the Baylor's camp. Like, no, go to those camps and, compete, work hard, and continue to learn. You've got to, continue to work on your craft. So yeah, go to as many camps as possible. Continue to learn and just work hard. Be a competitor.
All right, so now we're in a world with social media, right? Every kid is on there, blah blah blah, good or bad. So what's your advice? 'Cause I tell a lot of kids and a lot of parents like, hey, you gotta keep them social media, you gotta keep that stuff clean because coaches look at that stuff now. It's not, it's right there, and also whatever you put on the internet is there. It's not going
Hmm.
nowhere. All right, you try to erase it, it's still there. What's your advice to them on that, on kids and even parents? I tell, because I always tell parents you have to be involved. You can't. Your kid is 16 years old. They are not grown.
Hmm.
All right. So
Yeah.
a lot of parents that hit me with that. Well, he got to figure out his own. How he gonna? He's 16. He's 10th grade. He haven't figured out life yet. He young.
Yeah.
You gotta help him. You gotta be there for him. You can't. Yeah, you gotta help him. Your kid gonna basically do what you tell him to do in a way. Like, what's
Right.
your opinion on that for social media? I try to tell them all keep it clean. And
Yeah.
if you a football, if you love whatever you playing, if it's football, you need to post yourself on there. You need to put some highlights, some workouts. Coaches look at that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your social media in a way is like your resume.
Exactly.
So yeah, parents, you should be, monitoring it, making sure that you're representing yourself in a way that, someone would be willing to make an investment in you. At the end of the day, schools are making an investment in you by offering you a
Facts.
scholarship, and now you tie in, NIL, like there's a monetary, investment into your son. So, if there's character red flags, then a lot of schools won't touch it.
Yeah,
You
that's
you
facts.
can't be a liability to the university and to the brand. So parents definitely should stay on top of their kids' social media. Don't be on there disrespecting women. Using derogatory terms. Like there's really, like, at the end of the day, what's your goal? Is your goal to look cool amongst your peers, or is your goal to play Division I football, to have a a career in sports or whatever it is. So I mean, your social media should reflect that. You don't have to repost everything. You don't have to like everything that you see on social media.
Gotcha.
So
That's true. That's true.
that's
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 yeah. Yeah,
that's
you hit
that's
it dead
my
on the nose.
advice.
It's your resume.
Yeah, it's your resume. Like, I
Yes.
mean, school people like myself and guys that work in personnel, recruiting departments, our job is to do thorough backgrounds, to look at social media, talk to coaches. When our coaches go on the road in high schools, they're talking to guidance counselors, they're talking to, the lunch lady, the janitor, like they're talking to everyone. At the end of the day, like our jobs are dependent on you coming here and having success and playing well. So like it means something. Like we can't, be taking unnecessary, risk, on a kid. Like granted, yeah, you're 16, 17, but when we sign a kid, when we're recruiting a kid, we want to feel good about them. We want to feel like, this is someone that is going to be a part of, our football family, and, someone that, that we can depend on and count on, to represent us and the university the proper way.
No, that's real. That's what I tell everybody. Yo, the character, the sense of people. I love it. You say you even asking the lunch lady in the lunch line, hey,
Everyone.
how's such and such?
Yeah.
The counselor, hey, how's he? And that, I tell people, man, your character speaks a lot of it, and you treat everybody nice, and you can kind of, and you performing. I mean, it's it all clicks, and that's why I think you have the elite of the elite that make it to certain levels
Hmm.
because they understand that them, their families, the village, everybody gets that, and I tell people, man, that's huge, especially on the recruiting trail, because you're once a school like Alabama signs you, you represent them, right?
Right.
You got to keep their brand going. Their brand is already a machine, right? It's
Right.
already at the top tier. So you can't come there and already with a bunch of red flags. It's just not gonna take you on, especially in today's world with transfer portal and things like that.
Hmm.
You always try to tell kids like, hey, you doing this and you've been a knucklehead right now. This coach just can go in the transfer report and already get a kid that's been in the play ball 4 years. He already know what he bringing to the table. He gonna take a chance on him before he grabs you, and with all these red flags around you, it's just
Yep.
those days are over with. We're just taking flying chances on guys that brings life. But I think now, just from being around a lot of kids in the last zillion years I've been doing this, a lot of people are getting that and changing. Like, hey, the knucklehead days are over with. Let's get this straight. If your goal is to play at a big school like University of Alabama, have a great career, get your education, potentially play in the NFL. If
Hmm.
not, be a contributing member to society, go into career path, resources they have there. If you want to be a coach, whatever you want to do are there. A lot of resources now for kids that, they didn't have 10, 15 years, not even 5 years ago. A lot of more resources have to be successful now. And that's,
Right.
especially people like you, the staff, y'all guys are there to help someone. You can tell you've been through a journey in life that if you just tell this next kid, like, he be like, man, coach, you pretty much been through the same stuff I done been through. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I'm from Flint, Michigan, the hood. I made it out. I went to university. I went to Northwestern. Got my degree. Got a job. Worked at the University of Michigan. Worked at Detroit Catholic Central High School. Had a family. Got married. I'm at Alabama now working. My family's here. I'm living a dream, and I'm steady going, and I'm young. So kids can figure through that. They be like, man, dang, coach, I'm not from Flint, but I'm from such and such, the same thing, right?
Right.
Oh, I'm
Right.
from Flint, right? It's all always, and I always look at it where I'm from. If I see a kid from where I'm from, I'll be like, man, that's touching right there, dude. I'm from. He be like, dang, coach, you live on? Yeah, dude, I'm from Brentwood, bro. I live right down Tidewater. Like, for real? Like, yeah, dude.
Right.
I did the same stuff you did every day. Walk to the store, buy egg rolls for dinner, didn't have no money, go to Taco Bell, had no money, go home. Like, I did the same stuff you did. You doing right
Yep.
now. I've been through that, but I made it out of there. So I never looked back, and I always took great advice from great people and kept myself around great people. I always tell people
Hmm.
that every day, people you're around every day is gonna be a representation of you. Like, if you're around a bunch of knuckleheads early on, that's gonna be you. So
Yeah.
as I started growing up and I started, getting older and going to college playing ball, I started separating people I hang around. Cause,
Hmm.
even now, it don't mean I don't like you, but I just can't be around you. We had two different goals. I got a family. I got to get home every day. So I always try to
Right.
tell young people, starting early on is, put people around you, especially football players, right? If your goal is to play D1 football, your buddies, right? Close on, especially if you're in a bad area. Those guys need to be the guys like, hey, we all on the same path. We finna go work
Right.
out. We doing our school work. This is what we want to get. We want to make it out this hood. We got to do this to make it out. I can't go hang out with them because we ain't gonna make it out. Like if I hang
Right.
around them, and I think I know that's definitely true for me because I look back on a lot of friends I grew up with that made it out. We all kind of went that straight line. The ones didn't, they went to the right. We all went to the left. It kind of keeps
Yeah.
straight, man. But man, appreciate having you on today, Tony. Man, definitely think we discussed a couple things that a lot of people, I always say I try to give information back to people that they can take in, they can listen. I always say if we can change one person, from this podcast right here, we did our job on it. One kid, one parent. When I hear somebody say, "Well, they need to figure out on their own," it irks me. I'm like, no, your son is a kid. Like you got to
Yeah.
help him. Whoever, mom, dad, brother, uncle, grandparents, whoever, somebody, a person, a kid needs help on that journey. Needs some push sometimes. Needs some
Hmm.
advice. Good or bad. So, and I always say it takes a village. Takes a lot of people to help them. Little league coaches. I always say little league coaches, trainers everybody is important. I always look at back me working with a lot of athletes over the years. Some of these athletes I've been around more than their parents probably have. Throughout the daytime. They
Hmm.
with me, so I always look at everybody plays a part. In that person's success as they keep going on their journey, because every step in life is different people that's gonna help you, right? Little league starts early, right? Them coaches gonna have a big effect, right? Then you keep going, right? Then you get to high school, right? You get a trainer. That trainer is gonna be around you, like gonna have a big point. Then boom, you get to high school, all the coaches gonna have a big point. Teachers, janitors, lunch ladies, everybody. I never forget. I was in high school. Shoot, even elementary lunch lady, I don't even think I had no. I ain't even had no money. She used to let me eat. I don't want to
Yeah.
get her fired. It don't even matter. She probably don't work no more. But like, she used to give me food. I'm like, I'm hungry. Well, you only supposed to get one plate. Get another one. You good? I'm like, I got
Yeah.
football practice. I need some more food.
Yeah.
Those people look at you. A lot of times people take that for granted. I'm like, man, them people were some of the best people I came across every day, and just good, down to earth. Like, hey, dude, we got extra food. Hey, get some. You good? It's simple
Hmm.
thing. It was taco rolls and pizza all the time, but chicken nuggets, fries. But that was a lot. As you kind of go through, like, man. But man, appreciate having you on, man. Hey, I hope y'all. Hey, y'all got to win that championship this year, man. Y'all
Yeah.
win that thing, man. Job done. But man, y'all looking good out there on the field, man. Y'all got some players, a lot of athletes. Golly, y'all got a lot of speed.
Oh
You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So definitely, man, I appreciate you having me on here. It's always a honor, and a privilege, to be able to, kind of share my story. And like you said, if we can help, just one kid, then, job well done. But I'm just grateful, to be in a position where I can pay it forward. I recognize that, I'm the result, of a lot of, positive, influences in my life, and I wouldn't be where I am without someone, reaching back and bringing me along. So, if there's ever any opportunity that I can give, whether it's my time, or just some words of advice, feel free to share my contact information, because at the end of the day, we just want to see you know the guys after us do better than us, learn from our mistakes, things that we did right, so that as society, specifically as young black men, that we continue to trend in the right direction.
That's facts. That's facts, there, man. Well, that's a wrap from the Sports Resort, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm out of here. D Junk, Tony Jones. Peace out. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.